Hey everyone, it's Jeff Graff at Argy Investments. Wanted to reach out and say hello. It's been about a year since the last time we've seen everyone. Nick and myself, if you remember, we came out last year to each individual location and had the opportunity to meet with all of you guys on an individual basis. We want to be able to do that again for everyone, and we're going to make ourselves available to do that next week. More to come on that here in a second, but I really just wanted to take a moment to talk about how things have gone in the last year. It's obviously been one of the most difficult situations we've had in a long time. Everything from the pandemic to the social responsibility issues that we're seeing out there in the streets to, you add that all on top of the fact that we have an election coming up in the next 2 months. I don't think we could really predict that any of this was going to happen if we were to look back a year ago. I know I certainly haven't. The one thing I want to mention is that regardless of what happens today, everything that you guys are doing is considered a long-term play. So don't get caught up too much in what's going on in the world today, especially if you're planning on retiring in the next 10, 15, 20, in some cases 30 to 40 years. Because these little things that are happening right now will really have a minimal impact on what's going on with your retirement down the road. With that said, we can't predict anything. We had last quarter, actually it was the first quarter of last year or this year. It was the worst stock market correction that we've ever seen in the history of the stock market. And here we're thinking that finally the correction's in place and it's going to be in place for a while. We turn around and have the best quarter in the second quarter in the history of the stock market as well. So I think that the main thing to remember is that regardless of what's happened in the last year, if you were invested this time last year, you're still better off than you were a year ago when it comes to being invested. So we want to talk to you a little bit about that. I think it's important to discuss how all that works and how it does impact your account balances with the long-term play. The other thing too I want to mention is that just to remind everyone that Plumbers Supply has decided to increase their deferral amounts with the company match. So what the company was doing was they were doing 50% on the first 4% of what you contribute. Now Plumbers Supply is doing 50% on the first 6% of what you contribute. You would think that's not that significant, but in the long-term horizon, when you're looking at significant amount of years until you retire, that actually has quite a big impact on your 401k account balance. So if you go from 4% to 6%, which is where you're increasing your percentage points by 2, and then the company is actually putting an additional 1%, that's a total of 3 additional percentage points that's going into your retirement for retirement. So if you're in your 40s, that could actually turn into anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 of an additional retirement balance that you're going to have when you retire. If you're in your 30s, this is where it really actually is much more significant. Just by increasing it from 4 to 6%, your savings goal or your savings balance is going to be anywhere between $100,000 to $250,000 more at retirement. So that does have an impact, and that is significant when you look at 3% now versus $100,000 to $200,000 more in retirement years. So I want to make sure that we talk about that. The other thing, dude, as well, just keep in mind that when we meet with you guys, it's not just 401k. We talk to you guys about anything that you want, whether it's 401k related or not. It can be about your mortgage. It can be about any debt, whether it's student loans or credit card debt. We can even talk to you about budgeting. Last year, we sent out a budgeting worksheet. We'll have that with us again as well, so that you can kind of get a little bit more of a better idea of how to create a budget and live on that budget as well. So anything that you want to talk about, we can talk to you guys about. Those are just a few examples. So please take the opportunity to be able to sign up next week. With that said, you're going to be getting an email here shortly if you haven't already. I would think it's going to happen today or tomorrow. And it's going to be a sign-up genius is what it's called, but it's a sign-up sheet. And there's going to be 3 advisors that's going to be available for you guys. Myself, Nick again, and then we have an additional advisor in Wesley. So just pick a slot. So there'll be 3 different advisors. Pick an advisor. There'll be times throughout the entire day. So it's a 20-minute session. It'll give you the opportunity to talk about anything that you want to, whether it's how things have been going so that we can, see if you're still on track in order for you to retire comfortably and do the things that you want to do, or again, as I mentioned earlier, it can be anything else outside of that as well. So we're going to try to keep it at 20 minutes. We would love to meet with you guys in person like what we did last year. We found that was very valuable. The conversations and relationships that we created last year are ones that I would love to be able to continue, and we will continue those. Just for this year alone, we're going to have to do virtual, and then we'll be able to get out and see you guys again in the near future. Please keep in mind that you're not limited to these sign-up sheets. If you can't make these days that we've got for next week, you can always reach out and talk to us. We've got a contact flyer that's going out if it hasn't already as well, where you can call us at your discretion on your time frame, and we'll always have an advisor available to meet with you guys as well. Well, that's everything. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys again next week, running through all this. It can be on phone, or we can even set up a Zoom for you guys as well, where we can see you guys in person. So either way, I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are doing well, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.